You are now watching the whimsically works of Arc Wizard CJ. If you enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe.
What's going on, everybody? Arch was the CJ here, and today I wanted to talk about something that I really should have touched on better the first time I initially talked about it, but I really failed to do so because I felt like the commentary was a bit rushed. And that was my March 16th video, I believe, where I was talking about the state of Decay and For Honor. And I just wanted to have a more detailed discussion about it right now, so that way maybe if I could talk about it the way I want to talk about it, that people can understand why I feel so poignantly about the game's state of decay, and hopefully it enlightens people who are otherwise in the dark about their opinions on the situation, so on and so forth. So my initial thoughts, they were pretty negative, and honestly, I don't feel like there's any potential or room for growth in terms of this game's incline, and I feel like it just goes all downhill from here. I feel like the peak For Honor player-based population and player interest was right around, I want to say, season 3 when Highlander and Gladiator came out. I feel like that was the best time for Ubisoft to make the changes they would have needed to ensure this game's future. And I feel like what ended up happening is that they fell short on that opportunity, and consequently season 4, season 5, and now from season 5 to season 8 there are no more new heroes coming out for the rest of the year. And if there's no more new heroes, no more new game modes, no real riveting or extensive changes in gameplay, I honestly don't see this game surviving till the end of the year. And every time I try to have this conversation, I always get somebody that tries to berate or belittle me because of my opinion. And it really frustrates me because I feel like if we were able to have this conversation sooner, we could have prevented this from happening. And I've said it so many different times in so many different ways that we need to come together as a community in order to try to mitigate this problem from happening. But everybody was so busy enjoying their little bullshit, enjoying, the toxicity, and enjoying the fact that this game was so niche that there wasn't a lot of competition to begin with, that I feel like everybody got caught up in the idea that this game was bigger and more sustainable than it was. And I remember people trying to brag about how there was 1 million unique players in June, trying to tell me that everything I was saying was wrong, and nobody really had facts to provide. They just wanted to fucking run their mouth in the comment section. And it saddens me as a content creator, as someone who was blessed enough to blow up because of this game, to now see the game that really brought me out of obscurity just fall apart and fall back into the depths like this, And I really feel like it could have been avoidable. I feel like it could have been avoidable, and I feel like we are where we're at in terms of the status of this game. Not because it's something that was unavoidable, but the exact opposite. I feel like on part of the developer's job and on part of us as the community, it was a culmination of a bunch of mishappenings and things that could have been avoided but weren't, that ultimately caused this game to fall apart on both sides. First of all, For Honor is a fighting game, and on top of it being a fighting game, it's a niche fighting game. And fighting games are already a niche in the gaming market, so it's a niche within a niche, which means its community is already going to be subjugated to a lack of players in comparison to another community, because it is such a specific type of game for people to be into. Shooters are oversaturated, so that genre as a whole is going to have the most saturation of players. So it's very easy for a shooter to blow up than it is for other games like a fighter or a racer or a dungeon crawler or other real lower tier games in terms of popularity. So right away, For Honor had to set the best example for itself in order for something so niche and unique to be successful in a market that literally hasn't had anything else like it. And a lot of people assume that because it was so unique, that made it something that would help benefit its success and productivity, when in reality, a bad game is a bad game. It doesn't matter how unique it is. I mean, if you look at the hero shooter market, Battleborn was one of a kind. It was right next to Overwatch and Team Fortress, but because it was right next to Overwatch and Team Fortress, it ultimately died a horrible death. And what I'm saying is that with For Honor, the reason why its longevity has been so strong is not because it's a good game. I genuinely believe the reason why For Honor has been doing, not necessarily as well, but the reason why For Honor has been staying afloat for so long without it literally having 0 players like a game like Battleborn or a game like Lawbreakers is because there is no other game like it. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, well, you know, that just goes to prove the fact that it's such a unique and interesting game, but that's not what I think. What I literally mean is that there's no other game like it. And the problem with that is that as soon as a developer or a company catches on that this is the only other game that it would have to compete with in order to be successful in this market, all they would have to do is make another game that's better than For Honor. Just take what For Honor did and make it better. And then bam, no more For Honor. You have an entire year coming up where there's not going to be any new heroes. They're going to rework characters segmented at a time, which means if your favorite character is Warden and Orochi and Season 6 doesn't update that character, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have an even more divided fan base because there's going to be more characters updated with the same amount of characters unupdated. So there's going to be the same amount of issues with the same pool of characters with no solutions and no added variety. You understand me? So the desire to move away from this game is going to increase for its player populace. And now let's say somebody like Disney saw this and capitalized on the situation. Let's say Disney, because they have the money in the in-house staff, they could easily bring back something like LucasArts Studios. And imagine, if you will, if there was a Star Wars brawler game similar to For Honor. Imagine how quickly that game would overshadow For Honor. They just take For Honor's combat system, improve upon it, add Star Wars elements, lore, story, and world space, and then populate it with us as the players. Imagine how quickly that game would overshadow and destroy For Honor. You understand me? And I feel like it's a Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas type situation. Fallout 3, you know, retroactively, I went back and played both games. I've been playing New Vegas, I've been playing Fallout 3. I've also been playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I've been live streaming it on my Twitch, but it hasn't been like professional, intentional live streams. I'm just having my homie watch me play while I'm in a PSN party chat and other people happen to join. But the point is that I've been playing these games retroactively, and I realized that when I play Fallout 3 in comparison to Fallout New Vegas, it's an inferior game. And I'd be thinking to myself, how come when I was playing these games as they came out, I didn't feel the way that I feel about them now? And it's a bit of a rose-colored glasses situation, but it's also because when Fallout 3 came out, it was 3 years until Fallout New Vegas came out. There was no direct comparison. Now you have Fallout New Vegas, which in my opinion has superior atmosphere, superior gameplay, superior storytelling. Dialogue options are superior. There is nothing that Fallout 3 does better than Fallout New Vegas. And it makes you realize that you didn't feel that at the time because Fallout 3 was the only thing that you had to compare to Fallout. New Vegas comes out, it was a new IP. A lot of people hated on it. I remember saying that it was better than Fallout 3 and I got a lot of hate on it. But when you really stop to analyze the longevity of both games, Fallout New Vegas has outlived Fallout 3 like tenfold. Like there's still mod creators improving the game to this day, you know, almost 10 years later. And it's such an impressive feat when you realize that there's only 2 of its kind, you know, next to Fallout 4, which Fallout 4 helps to recognize that Fallout New Vegas is a better game because Fallout 4 was done poorly. Fallout 3 was done poorly. So Fallout New Vegas, compared to these other 2 games, it looks so much better on top of it being a good game. That's what I mean by the Battleborn, Overwatch, Team Fortress dynamic. For Honor, in my opinion, is Battleborn. There is no Overwatch and there is no Team Fortress. There's no other games to directly compare to For Honor. So because it's afloat right now. If anybody, and I mean anybody, comes out, if there was a pirate game like For Honor, if there was a Star Wars game like For Honor, a Lord of the Rings game like For Honor, there was a Fight Club game like For Honor, if there was a Fallout game, if anybody took the time, if there was a Mad Max game like For Honor, I'm saying if anybody takes the time to take what For Honor formula is, make it better, and then drop their own version with their own lore and world space, it would kill For Honor. And it saddens me as a content creator for this game because this is what I built my base off of. You understand me? And it's not that I'm afraid to branch out, because I know that I'm capable of making quality content wherever I go. It's just that it saddens me that a game with as much potential as For Honor is stomped on and stabbed out. And it's like, people are still holding on to that dream that this becomes a mega super successful game and that everybody who stuck with it, you know, finds a happy ending. But look at the Destiny YouTubers. They stuck with that game for 4 years, and that game has continuously let them down. And then the second installment comes out, everybody's expecting it to be this world-changing experience. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 20 times, and you're probably a Destiny fanboy. Now everybody is stuck with that sinking ship, and they're all desperately trying to claw their way out. And that's how it feels of being a For Honor YouTuber. It feels like I have so many windows of opportunity to crawl out of this hole, and it's a hard community to work with. Everybody's so belligerent and ignorant, and a lot of shit talk, a lot of negative Nancy's. I have never seen so many keyboard philosophers in one single community. Every time I look in my comments, it's somebody trying to either tell me how to play, tell me how to act, or tell me how to be. And nobody has their own solutions, their own answers to their own problems. They just want to tell you something. You understand me? And it's really sad, man. It's a sad situation, and it feels like a burden as an individual who's really dedicated himself to this game. And I'm not gonna say if every YouTuber feels like that, but I can speak on myself personally and say that I personally feel like that, you know? Don't get me wrong though, I feel blessed for being with the people who I've been with this entire time, and being able to mingle and lope with and basically allocate my allegiance to so many people. Because if this game was as successful as it was, I wouldn't have as intimate of a relationship with, you know, people like Kenzo, people like Spliced, you know, Talon Dillard, Flux Deluxe, all these people that I've met because of this game. So I'm happy that this game is the way it is in a sense. But at the same time, you gotta understand, it's a real letdown in terms of its longevity and long run, you know? And with so many more games that's gonna draw attention away from this game that's coming out, you know, I already know a portion of the community left because of Dragon Ball Z Fighters. And Injustice 2, that snatched a few too back then. But you also gotta understand, you know, you got Red Dead Redemption coming out, God of War, Last of Us Part 2. You got so many more games that I can't even think of off the top of my head. State of Decay. There's a PlayStation exclusive coming out that's similar to State of Decay. And you got so many other games that are coming out over the next few years. This game is not gonna last. And I don't even understand the necessity of making a For Honor 2. Because I can't see what they can do with For Honor 2 that they could do better in For Honor 1 when they haven't even figured out the formula for For Honor 1. It would be like a Destiny 2 situation, you know? Like if you try to release a sequel to a game in which you honestly don't have a formula, you know, patented and put down for, all it would do is just create a separate game with the same problems, you know? And I don't really have much else to really add on it in terms of my situation. I was thinking about writing a script for a video like this, but I feel like I don't need to have in-depth dialogue that needs to be structured to really express my opinion at this point. I feel like it's common knowledge at this point. I'm just letting it be known as a YouTuber that yes, we are thinking this, yes, this is the situation, and yes, there's not much we can do about it, you know? Only time will really tell how long this game lasts, but when I say that For Honor is on this last hurrah, when I was releasing those videos telling people that this game is dying and we need to do something about it and nobody listened to me, I feel like now you really have to face the reality that this game is genuinely on its last leg. And it's sad, you know, it's really sad. I have no idea where I'm gonna go from here or anybody else is gonna go from here, but I do feel like it's worthy acknowledging that yes, this game is definitely seeing its way out. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I really don't have much else to speak on the situation. I might make some more videos elaborating myself, nothing too detailed, just adding on to the evidence that this game is a fluke. But I appreciate it for what it's done for me. I'm pretty sure everybody else does too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This has been ArchWizard CJ. I wish you all a good morrow, and I'm off for the time being.
This has been an ArchWizard CJ special. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.